right. Oh, come on. Right and up. What's up, Dawson? How's it going? Hello and welcome to the live Q&A for May 2025. It's been a while, hasn't it? The last time I did a Q&A, I was sick, so I had to cut it short. But today I'm fine, much better, and it's been a while, so we're back again. Oh my God, we're back again. Brothers, sisters, everybody sing. So how you guys been? It's been a while. Feel free to ask me questions. If you're new to this, then you can ask me questions live and I will answer straight away if I can. If it's something I can't answer, I'll be honest, or if it's too personal, I will be honest. But 9 times out of 10, I try to answer all the questions. Can't promise I have great answers, but I try my best. So please like, comment, subscribe, share, and yeah, let's enjoy this live Q&A. I've got me a rum and coke here as well. Oh, Sunday night, I need a drink. Oh, hello, Doug. Nice to see you. Do you prefer the Hulk or King Kong? I think King Kong. I think mainly because I prefer the King Kong movies, or well, at least the Peter Jackson King Kong, because Peter Jackson's King Kong was more emotive than the original, and also a bit more emotive than the Hulk film. Despite the Ang Lee Hulk trying to be very pretentious and develop Bruce Banner as a character, I just thought that I think King Kong has a little bit more emotional depth, personally. Thunderbolts. I've done a review of Thunderbolts, so if you want to hear my in-depth thoughts, go and check it out. But yeah, a return to form for the MCU, I'd say. Did you hear about the Thomas and Friends unaired pilot? No, I did not hear about that. Favorite Disney movie? Well, if you're talking about Disney animation, probably The Lion King, the original film, not the fucking remake. I don't know, like other Disney films, like I love Pirates of the Caribbean, in terms of like live action adventure. Those would probably be my next favorite. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. The one. Hello. Hello, bonjour, hola, ¿cómo estás? Whatever. It is time. Right. Just going to tell a few more people about this. Otherwise. Thomas and Friends. I mean, I'm guessing it's Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm probably a bit too old for that stuff, man, to be perfectly honest. But thank you for the recommendation. Maybe. It's a maybe at the moment. I did like Thomas the Tank Engine when I was a kid, but I'm 28 now, so I've moved on to other things since then. Oh dear, this is disappointing. Come on, people. More questions, please. Can you do an impression of Shrek saying, "What are you doing in my swamp?" What are you doing in my swamp? Fair enough, Doug. You got me there. Yeah, to each their own. To each his own. To each her own. To each their own. Etc. Etc. Do you prefer Canadians or Americans? Well, I don't see too much of a difference, certainly with the accent. I don't really see a lot of difference, to be honest. I used to work with a lady who's American, who lives in the UK, and I've met a Canadian person as well, who I used to work with. Very lovely. No different to you or I, really. Same level of humanity, respect. The nationality was just a nationality, really. When I went to America, I've been to America twice, and from what I experienced, the people were nice. There was only one person in America that I didn't like, and that was a beggar. Someone begged me for money in America, but aside from that, it was fine. Oh, I'm glitching up. Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Let me know in the chats if I'm glitching. I'm seeing myself live, so please let me know if I'm actually glitching. I mean, well, thanks, Dawson. You don't have to apologize to me. I mean, Alex is Alex, isn't he? He's just a crybaby. Stop bullying me right now. Fucking hypocrite. Anyway. Oh, funny enough, someone put that in the comments. Golden Savage, stop bullying me right now. Oh, Ross, how you doing? Nice to see you, my fellow Scotsman. It's nice. Subscribe to Ross Johnson. Really great guy. Really, really great guy. So nice. Such a nice guy. Does really good reviews. So subscribe. He deserves more subs than Alex. Why has Alex got more subs than him? That is criminal. Subscribe to Ross, please. Frozen Wish Studios is the next Alex. I don't know Frozen Wish Studios that well. I've spoken to him only a few times. But all I've heard recently is very bad things. So I kind of sorry, Frozen, if you're watching this, I'm keeping my distance because I don't know if I could trust him. And again, to each his own. You live your life, Frozen, whatever. But if everything that has been said is true, and there is evidence to prove it, I don't know if I could trust the guy with a barge pole. What's the most surreal filming location that you visited? Well, funny enough, I didn't realize I was so close to this location until I was there. But a few years ago, during the pandemic, well, it was 2021, my family and I went to Scotland for the summer for a holiday, and we realized that we were actually 5 minutes away from where they filmed Avengers Endgame. So Avengers Endgame, where we go to New Asgard in Scotland. Ross will know what I'm talking about. I stayed in Eyemouth, and then we drove it was only about 20 minutes down the road from my campsite that I was staying at. We drove to the location, and there was a tourist center with all the images and the information about the film and when they were filming, and the doc. It was exactly like the movie, and it was incredible. So that was a bit surreal. I did get a picture in front of the location, which is on my Facebook. So I was lucky enough to to visit that location. That was really quite swell. Have you seen Field of Dreams? Sorry, I haven't seen it. Oh, it's the picture. Sorry, yeah. I mean, as far as I can see, I'm seeing myself move, but if it's glitching, I apologize about that. Oh, no worries, Ross. No worries. You're absolutely fine, my friend. You deserve the shout out. Yeah, Alex is a narcissist. I wouldn't pay any attention to what he says. He's threatened. I mean, recently, actually, let me just be real here. Alex recently posted 2 reviews where he actually referenced Harry Thomas as the worst user, and he talks about scenes in the movies where characters are stabbed, and he threatens to stab Harry Thomas by saying, "Oh, this is like stab user," oh, that made me so angry and so uncomfortable. So I actually fucking hate Alex. I really fucking hate him. I can't stand him. He's a prick. I have to keep monitoring his channel because I'm so worried about what he's going to do. Harry doesn't deserve that. No one does. But yeah, just please unsubscribe from Trolls Band Together Fan 2001. Boycott his channel. Report him. Get that fucking loser off the internet. Okay, who's next? Declan. Hello. Nice to see you, Declan. Nice to see you. Declan does funny little impressions in our group chat that we've got. I won't say the name of the group chat for security reasons, but on Facebook we have a group chat. Declan is in it, and he's made me laugh quite a few times. So thank you, Declan. Shout out to Declan. Shadow Leon 659. Alex rants are even worse than those Go Animate rants. I don't really watch Go Animate rants that much. I've seen a couple of Go Animate reviews, and they're fine. I don't watch it that often, but yeah, Alex's rants are, well, incoherent, for a better word. Well, honestly, guys, I gotta say, guys, honestly, this, Alex, one word, edit. Edit your reviews. Duh. Dude, and Alex, stop recording yourself in the bed. That's fucking weird, man. That's fucking weird. Anyway. Can you do an impression of Alex singing "We Don't Talk About Bruno"? And he get okay, I'll give it a go. We don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no. We don't talk about Bruno. He told me my patient died the next day. Dad. He told me the bloody gun, and just like he said, oh, I'm sorry. It's an absolute categorical never. Alex, you will never be a pop star. You, it's an absolute no. You're the worst singer in the universe. Simon, how could you say that? You're the worst. I also threw in a Simon Cowell impression there as well. Which Star Wars film is your favorite climax? Oh, good question. Good question. Well, I guess I kind of am obliged to say The Empire Strikes Back, because it is my favorite Star Wars film, and it has the "I am your father" scene. But I like a lot of the climaxes, to be honest. Oh, it's tough because I think Revenge of the Sith also has a really good climax with the duel on Mustafar and Yoda versus Sidious. Then the Phantom Menace, which often gets criticized for having too many things going on. I actually like that climax a lot. I think that having the things going on makes up for the boring shit that you have to sit through in the first two acts. So, but I think in terms of like story execution, I think Empire Strikes Back, I'll go with that because it builds up to that. Everything preluding that builds to that, and it feels more impactful than the rest of the climaxes. But there are some really good climaxes in Star Wars. That's a great question, by the way. Happy Mother's Day, Dinobot. Though it's not Mother's Day in the UK, but happy Mother's Day for you. Ranking these 5 movies that I like that you don't. Oh gosh. Well, the worst one on that list is probably Star Trek Nemesis. Then I would say, Kong Skull Island. Then Jurassic Park. Sorry, The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Then Tomorrow Never Dies. But I don't like any of them. What do you miss most about working in the office? I don't know where you get that information, but I've never worked in an office. I've worked in retail. I'm not sure if you're confusing me with someone else. I've never worked in an office. I don't plan to either. Favorite and least favorite Doctor Who spin-off? Oh gosh. I don't know if Dimensions in Time counts, but that's my least favorite. My favorite Doctor Who spin-off, probably the Sarah Jane Adventures, actually. It's underrated. I know a lot of people would say Torchwood, but I like the Sarah Jane Adventures. It's cute. It's like a baby version of Doctor Who, and it was always nice to see Liz Sladen get her recognition in that show. It's such a shame that she passed away during the filming of the last season, but oh well, it's unfortunate. But you know, it was such a great way to honor her legacy as a companion in the main show as well, and keep her going. What's one talent that you have that no one here knows about? Oh, that's a very good question. Well, I don't know about if anyone knows about, well, talents that I know about. That's a difficult one. Most people on here are exposed to my talents. Like, I guess impressions, but then most people have seen my impressions or heard my impressions. Aside that, I guess some of you might know this, but others might not. I am a filmmaker, and I'm actually currently producing and directing a feature film. I've made a feature length James Bond movie. I've made a trilogy of James Bond films, and the last one was feature length. So I guess if that counts, maybe. But in terms of other hidden talents, probably not. I do sing, but I don't do it that often, to be honest. So yeah. What is the one movie you think everyone should watch? Ooh. It's going to sound so biased, but I think if you want to pursue filmmaking, watch Lord of the Rings, because that is an example of just absolute passion. Whether you like the movies or not, it's an example of great passion that goes into a project. So I'd say those ones really are essential viewing as far as I'm concerned. If you don't like them, fair enough, but you have to at least respect the craft. Hi, Cusack. Yeah, I'm all right. Not too bad. I hope you've been well. What is one task your family always expects you to do? Heavy lifting. As my parents are getting older now, I have to do a little bit more. Especially my dad was ill last year, so I had to pick up the slack. And lift a lot more things, which is fine. I have no problem with that. It happens. The other task is walking the dog, which I hate. I hate doing that. But it is what it is. You know, while I'm living here, I have to. You know, I have a roof over my head, so I can't complain. Alex Apollo. Oh, what the fuck? I've lost my place. Oh, fuck's sake. Oh. Bugger. Bugger. I hate it when this happens. It just, when the thing just drops down and I have to scroll up to all my questions. Okay, here we are. Alex's apology is the worst ever. Yeah, Harry Thomas, I'm so sorry. I was a horrible friend to you, but I still hate your guts, and I will never respect your opinions. Grow a fucking pair, Alex, and touch some grass. Favorite book? The Harry Potter series. I don't read that much, to be honest, but I did read Harry Potter. Alex thinks everyone should like Charles. Yes. Yeah, tell me something I don't know on that. Oh, the Hunt for Gollum. Yes, well, undoubtedly there's going to be CGI, but if it's consistent with the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies, then I think it will be fine. The technology's improved so much. I think Middle-earth CGI will be used pretty sparingly, to be honest. I mean, even in The Hobbit, while there was more CGI, it wasn't like to the level of the Star Wars prequels. There was a lot of live-action photography there, and the CG that was used, I thought, was pretty good. As good as Lord of the Rings? No, but still good enough for what they needed. And Rings of Power has shown us that's, you know, I mean, yes, the Rings of Power, for me, is not very good. I haven't even seen season 2. I saw season 1. But what I saw of season 1 was a visually beautiful spectacle, but a poor story. So at the very least, I think it will be visually stunning. But with Andy Serkis directing, and he is obviously Gollum as well, so I think there's going to be a lot of heart that goes into this. So I'm quietly confident about it. Obviously, it could suck. Who knows? But I'm quietly confident that it will be pretty good, at least. Which Avenger would you want to be? That's a good question. I think Iron Man, because you'd be super intelligent and you'd have super amounts of technology, and you'd be a billionaire. So, you know, why not? James Earl Jones is in the Field of Dreams. Oh, nice. Oh, they filmed in Iowa. Oh, awesome. License to Kill or Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock? If you're asking me which one's better, License to Kill. What do you think of the Doctor Who movie with Eric Roberts? I have reviewed it on my channel. To check my in-depth thoughts on the channel. I think it's all right. I mean, it's fine. It's cheesy, but you know, it's hard not to appreciate it because of Paul McGann, who's the Doctor. But it's not great, as far as I'm concerned. Coffee or tea? Probably tea. Worst apology ever, and the words. Oh yeah. Nice. Favorite action scene in Primeval? I just think the whole entire last episode of series 2 is one of my favorites. When they're fighting all of the creatures, that's pretty epic. But outside of that, one of my favorite scenes of the show is when, I think, series 3, episode 6, where they're driving this truck and Danny is in the back trying to hit the terror birds with this spanner or wrench or something, and he's like hanging off the back of the truck. That was like a proper blockbustery sort of sequence. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's tiny. To be honest, beyond that side is the window, so I'm in a box basically. But yeah, it's all right. You know, I would hope for better in the future, but you know, for now it will do. I had a good time seeing Fantastic Mr. Fox. Oh, nice. Enjoy. I might go and watch it tomorrow. We'll see. But I've heard very good things about the re-release. I did see the movie years ago on DVD. I enjoyed it. I thought it was well done. The animation is amazing. Oh yeah, Lilo and Stitch is out soon. Oh, yeah, we'll have to brace ourselves for that one. 3 favorite Bond composers? Well, obviously John Barry, without question. Thomas Newman, because Skyfall is my favorite Bond soundtrack, and David Arnold. I think they're the 3 best. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? It's a very good question. I would describe myself as an introverted extrovert, meaning I'm a little bit of both. When I was younger, sort of like before I was like 11 or 12, I was very shy. You wouldn't believe it, but I was a big introvert. I had friends, and I got on with people, but I struggled in social situations. I would struggle even to make eye contact. I would look and then look away from someone because I was nervous. Over time, I did get over that. But I think it wasn't until my mum sort of encouraged me to do drama as a hobby, I had to get my confidence up, and that really helped. Um, but even to this day, I still have moments when I feel like an introvert. There's certain social situations, certain people I don't mix with. I go quiet. I keep myself to myself. But if I'm around people I'm comfortable with, I'm an extrovert. So it's an interesting question because it varies for me. Oh, thanks, Declan. Most entertaining sibling rivalries. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if you're talking about in terms of film or in terms of just generally. I don't know. I guess I don't know if it was much of a rivalry, but sibling dynamic. Probably the Weasleys in Harry Potter, because obviously there's so many of them, and there was all different personalities clashing, and obviously like the fact that Ginny's the only girl, and then you got all the boys there. So it's seeing them in their family home was interesting. I thought Alex is like Voldemort without powers, I guess. Well, in the sense that he isn't capable of love, yes, I would agree with that. But unlike Voldemort, he has he actually has a nose, and he has a very big one. uh, if you were bringing back Pirates of the Caribbean, what would you do? I'd kind of reboot it, to be honest, softly. Definitely try and include Johnny Depp somewhere. I just think it needs to go back to basics because, while I do enjoy a lot of the films, a lot of them do get quite convoluted. When you think about it, the first three movies work as a trilogy. They work together as a set, which is great. But gradually, like the first one starts out as its own kind of story, and then becomes more epic, more significant with the next two, which try to be a two-part story, and it ends up being kind of a three-part story, really. And it all becomes this interconnected epic, which works. 4 and 5 tried to go back to basics, but the writing just wasn't there. I think create a simple sort of treasure hunt story, and then embed interesting characters around that. I think go back to basics, but have better writers is the answer. Thanks for the update, Ross. Thank you. I mean, I'm half expecting him to post something soon, but thank you. Okay, summer of 2001. Well, I was 4 at the time, but if I was the age I was now, I'd probably see all of them, to be honest. I'm one of those people that tries to see as much as I can, especially now I have a Cineworld Unlimited card, so I get free tickets. But yeah, I would see all of them, to be honest. I think it would be churlish of me to refuse a chance to see those great films. I actually haven't seen Ocean's 11 though. I would need to watch that and review it at some point. But yeah, good question. Yeah, sadly, I don't know much about Zaid Magenta, but you have informed me in the chat, so I'll keep reading your messages about him. That's no question for Ross. Do you see Murray Gold as a composer for James Bond? Possibly. It would be hard to disassociate him from Doctor Who, but I think the guy is talented enough to come up with really good stuff. I really love his music for the first 4 or 5 series of the new series of Doctor Who. So yeah, for the most part, his music has been consistent. So yes, Star Trek 5 or Batman and Robin. Star Trek 5. Both are bad though. If you had to replace your legs with animal legs, which animal would you pick? That is a very unusual question. I like it. That's a good question. Maybe. Well. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably maybe horse's legs. I'd get to places faster. Yeah, maybe I'd be a centaur. Who knows? What person has made a big impact on your life and how? Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of friends who have made impacts on my life. One of my best friends, who's very supportive of me, helps me with all my films, is just there for me emotionally, gives me lifts sometimes because I don't drive. I feel bad. He's just a really nice guy, really, really talented guy as well. He goes through a lot of shit himself, and I often feel I don't do enough for him. And he means a lot to me. He really does. and I mean he's not on YouTube or anything. He's a personal friend. We met in 2013 when we went to college together, but we've stayed in touch, and we actually live fairly close to each other. So yeah, we've made a lot of good memories together. He's actually in my Bond movie. He plays Nick Nack in my Bond film. He's not the tallest person in the world, but he is actually he's older than me, believe it or not. But no, super nice guy. But yeah, no, he's one of my closest friends. Thoughts on lens flares in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek? Well, I've just kind of accepted it's part of J.J. Abrams' auteurism, as it were. He sees himself as an auteur by using those lens flares. Sometimes it's fine, other times it's distracting from the image. It just depends on what's going on. I think there's a time and a place for them, but it does seem very indulgent sometimes. What place, even if you don't live there now, has always felt like home? Yes, so every summer I go to the coast of England. I won't say exactly where for security reasons, but I go to the coast in England every summer. My uncle lives there. So that's always been like a second home because every year I've stayed in his house and I know the area so well now that it does sometimes feel like home, and I'm always welcome, and he's nice to have me. And yeah, I can go there to escape sometimes, to just have a break, which is really good. What's at the top of your bucket list? Mainly theatre. Like I do amateur theatre as a hobby. I'd love to play certain characters. Like I'd love to play Shrek. That's on my bucket list. But it just depends on what happens, really. In terms of like life events, well, I'd love to get married and have kids. That's definitely a bucket list thing. I'd love to go to New Zealand and see the Lord of the Rings set and the locations where they filmed. That's on my bucket list. Yeah. Aside from that, not much else. Moi. Hello, Luis. Yeah, exactly. Shadow Gamer. Exactly. Yeah, Alex. I don't even know if he set his videos to not for kids. I mean, I'd be surprised if he did because his channel was called Trolls Band Together Fan. The thing is, like, there's so little of trolls on his channel that who fucking knows what he's aiming his channel at neither a young nor an old audience. He doesn't know what he's doing. So, can you do an impression of Dalton singing "Let It Go"? Okay, I will. I'll give it a go. The snow glows. No, hang on. Let me try again. The snow glows wide on the mountain tonight. Not a footprint to be seen. Kingdom of isolation. It looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. Better keep it in. M knows I've tried. Don't let them in. Don't let them see. Be the good Bond who always had to be. Conceal. Don't feel. Don't let them know. But now they know. Let it go. Let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go. Let it go. I'm a problem eliminator. I'll try my best. What's the hardest part about working from home? I don't know. I don't know where you get this from. Like, dude, I don't work from home. I work. I work in a shop. That's my job. If you're talking about YouTube, YouTube, I don't get paid for it. I do this as a hobby. If you're asking me about YouTube, then not. I mean, recording in the small space is tough, but that's it really. If you're asking me about my other job, like my job that isn't at home, the hardest part, well, is just the job in general, to be honest. But just to clarify, I don't work from home. I don't get paid to work from home, just to be clear. Which Transformers film is your favorite climax? Ooh, that's a good question. Probably the first one, because it feels like it's actually going somewhere. Because the other ones are just kind of Michael Bay just masturbating to the effects. And it's just the same thing. It's like, oh, they just have to destroy the MacGuffin and all of this and that. But the first one has at least some kind of jeopardy. You feel like Sam Witwicky goes on some kind of arc. It's not much, but it's something. You feel like he earned some kind of courage towards the end when he takes the cube up to the top of the tower. Failing that, actually, probably Transformers 1, maybe slightly more. because it deals with the origins and the fallout of the relationship between Megatron and Optimus. But then Bumblebee's one is also fun. But no, I think Transformers 1 actually would win on that one. What are the best qualities you inherited from your parents? Well, obviously an English accent. I think hopefully a kind heart. I mean, I'll leave other people to be the judge of that. And hopefully patience. You know, I've tried to develop a lot of patience, even though my parents are always the most patient people. I've tried to be patient in my life, but they've always been, you know, just supportive of me, and that's the thing. Like, I hope I'm supportive to other people, and they've been encouraging, and I hope I've picked up some of that and encouraged my friends and other family members. Just generally, I think trying to be kind as well and being well mannered. I hope that comes across, but you know, I'll let other people decide that. To be honest, I haven't seen the Kong and Godzilla teaser. Sorry, I can't answer that question. Quantum of Solace or Star Trek Into Darkness? Star Trek Into Darkness. What sport would you compete in if you had to be in the Olympics? Oh, archery. I'd love to do archery. Archery was fun when I did it as a kid. What is a movie reviewer you remember as a kid? Roger Ebert. Yeah, Roger Ebert was one. Mark Commode, I watched a lot, and I still watch him now. Jeremy Jahns, who I know is still around. When I was about 12, I think it was when he sort of emerged, when he did his Transformers 2 rant, and then he became popular. But nowadays, I don't really follow him anymore. He just does the same old thing. He goes through the motions, and he just bores me. But yeah. I then got into Chris Stuckman because at least he was a bit more analytical. So that's my argument for that. My perfect sandwich. Ooh, I like a lot of meat in my sandwich. So sometimes when I go to Subway, I have like salami, cheese, or chicken, depending on how I feel, with a bit of sauce. So if I have like a chicken, lettuce, mayo, and then a few olives, that's my Subway lunch. It's like a chicken protein sandwich, which is really nice. I like different sandwiches, but if I'm buying a meal deal from a shop, chicken and bacon is usually what I go for. Or prawn mayo. I like prawn sandwiches. I like various ones. I don't really have a favorite. If I'm at home and I'm not going anywhere soon, I'll have cheese and onion. Cheese and onion is a bit of a special one for me. Alex can't make you like anything. It's your choice. To each their own. If he can't take the fact that you like the stuff, or if you don't like what he likes, he's got to deal with it. He can't. But you do, you know, don't be afraid to express an opinion. Is my point. Favorite T-Rex design you've seen in a film or a show? Probably the 3 T-Rexes that were in King Kong, the Peter Jackson one. They looked massive. Terminator 3 or League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? If you're asking me which one's better, probably League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Do you have a job yet? Yes, I do have a job. I know the last couple of times I did these, I was out of work. I don't like my job, to be honest. I was desperate, so I took it. But I'm looking to potentially go back to my old job or find somewhere else. I got a job in a clothes shop, and it is so bad. It is so boring and monotonous. It's folding clothes all day, and then customers ruin it. You fold them again. I have one day on the tills, which is not too bad. But this job, I actually have to travel to the next nearest town, so it's not in my local area, which is another problem. So that's another reason why I'm trying to get out. Is just the cost of the travel is ridiculous with today's economy. So yeah, unfortunately, it's not very good. It's not good for the mental health, but I have plans about my future career, which I will talk about later on. What's the best thing about being a teenager? Well, I was a teenager a while ago, so yeah, that was probably over 10 years ago for me. I'm approaching 30 in less than 2 years, so I'm 28 right now. When I was a teenager, it was rough. You know, your body goes through a lot of changes. There's puberty. There's all sorts going on. Emotionally, things get mixed up in your head. Your body is constantly adjusting to things. The best thing I could say is probably the freedom to do what you want at times. Obviously, you still got to go to school and do your exams and but the freedom to spend time with your friends without having to rely on your parents to pick you up and go everywhere is nice. I saw more of my friends probably than I ever did before, but I learned a lot about myself as a teenager. I learned how to slowly come out of introversion. Um, but yeah, it's a difficult experience, to be honest. No one person's life as a teenager is smooth all the same. So yeah. Is Alex Molaram without the powers? Maybe. Yeah, he's good at like destroying people's hearts, isn't he? How heavily do your parents influence your decisions? It's a good question. To be honest, when I was younger, obviously they had more influence because I was young. And But lately, since I got into teenage years and then adulthood, they've pulled back the reins and they'd be like, well, obviously, you know what your limits are. It's your choice. We respect it. So they have learned to kind of back off a bit. Sometimes they'll fuss. Sometimes they'll fuss over things I tell them or decisions I make, and then I'll be like, "No, let me finish. Let me finish. You know, it's my choice." You know, they'll hear me out. But nowadays, I'm old enough to make my own choices, and they do respect that. Sometimes they are pedantic and fussy, but that's just the way they are. They're lovely people, though. Deep down, I would never change my parents, but um, academically, I chose to go to uni. They didn't tell me to go to uni. I I decided to do that off my own back because I was unhappy. Um, but they supported it. They supported that, so I couldn't have asked for more. Yeah, Alex betrayed Harry, but also many other people. Do you think there are benefits to social media over face-to-face communication? Ease of access. You know, accessing things via social media and technology is easier now. So, for example, if I had online lectures, I wouldn't have to go to my uni. I could just stay at home and do it on the computer. But yeah, I mean, face-to-face interaction is obviously preferred, and I think it's more favored. But yeah, I say that's the main thing: ease of access to resources and to online talks and all of that. Who's your best friend and how did you meet them? Well, I kind of touched on this earlier. Well, we met during college. We both were studying creative media, and we bonded over Doctor Who. And now we've become very good friends. We used to just go to the cinema all the time. We just had a great laugh, and also worked on film projects together. My best friend is also more of a writer, so he's been very helpful with me constructing the scripts of my movies. And we're still very good friends today. We've never really had a falling out. We may have had one or two disagreements, but nothing that we couldn't resolve. He's a very mature guy and just very accepting. Very accepting. And I hope I'm the same with him. He was really there for me when my dad was, going through cancer. So yeah, but we met through someone else, actually, a mutual friend, who got us involved in a side project, and the two of us got talking, and we just became very good friends. And then we found out we lived close to each other, so that also added to the social interaction as well. What's your opinion on Inside Out? Well, the first one, I absolutely love it. I think it's a masterpiece. It's my favorite Pixar film. It's a beautiful film. The second one is really good, but not as good. I think the first one for me is just tops it. Copland is a great Sylvester Stallone film. I'm guessing you're asking me if I plan to watch it. Maybe, yeah. If you're recommending it to me, then I'll watch it. Did you know Harry Thomas moved houses? Yes, yeah, I knew that. I've seen his vlog, and we talk on social media all the time. So yeah, he made me aware. But I'm happy for him. What's the worst thing about being a teenager? I think I've already answered that question, so I'm going to move on from that. What's your favorite romantic movie? Ooh, that's a good question. Well, it's not Attack of the Clones. Just to put it out there. Sorry, George. No, I think one of my favorites, actually, more not because of the romance, really, more just because of the structure of the movie. Sliding Doors. If you want to have a good example of like parallel narrative movies, that's a really good example for structure. That one's really, really well done. I think one of my favorites probably would have to be West Side Story, the remake, the 2021. It's sort of recent years. The romance is it's just beautifully tragic, isn't it? Because they're two people from different gangs and different societies who fall in love, and their romance causes just a ripple effect of tragedy across the entire group of characters. It's basically Romeo and Juliet as a musical. Um, and it's so well done, and it's so freaking sad at the end. It really is. Thoughts on the Talia al Ghul twist from Dark Knight Rises? I liked it. I mean, I'm not really well versed with the comics, but when I saw the Dark Knight Rises, I liked it. I thought it was great how they sort of interconnected the trilogy. Like the Dark Knight trilogy feels like one complete story, and I thought the third one was really really good. Actually, not as good as the Dark Knight, but I actually think I preferred it to Batman Begins, and I liked Talia. She could have had a bit more screen time, but I thought she was good, and it made sense. It's the biggest fight you ever had. Oh, I didn't have many sort of physical fights. I've had a few fallings out with friends and stuff, but like just minor spats that were resolved very quickly. But the biggest sort of fight, I was in school one day, and one of my friends was stressed on the verge of fainting. I was trying to calm him down, trying to help him, and then I had this girl that was bullying me, and she was shouting out abuse towards me, and I was trying to ignore it. I was getting stressed myself, and then this other guy comes over, tries to be an arsehole, and he pushes my friend who wobbles, and then I lost it. I grabbed this guy and threw him against the minibus, but I didn't lobber him or anything. I just grabbed him. I was just so angry. I was so pissed off. I regret what I did, but you know, it was in school and the teachers resolved it. I just spent a couple of days in the inclusion unit, um, and that's all I had to do. I had to write an account of what happened. So yeah, it wasn't nice, but my friend really appreciated it. But this friend was someone who, at first, it was very difficult to be friends with because of his autism. Um, it took me a while to wrap my head around this guy because he was very dependent on me. Nowadays, we are still friends. Nowadays, he's much more self-reliant, and we can go a bit of time without speaking. And when we do speak, it's great. You know, honestly, like the way this guy has improved his life, I'm so proud of it. But yeah, back then, it was stressful. How do you feel about PDA? It depends. Like, I don't mind if couples want to kiss in public or hold hands. That's fine. But if it gets more intense than that, then maybe they should. Maybe they shouldn't. But I think little things like that is fine. You know, I mean, you should expect it. You know, it is what it is. Would you ever get into voice acting? I'd like to, yeah. But currently, where I live, I've got no space to record, and the background noise would really interfere. I want to though. I want to try and look into it. I do like doing voices. I don't like my own voice, so maybe that's why I'm better at doing other voices. What are your thoughts on the Prince of Egypt? I've done a review of it. Go and check out the review. But short answer is I love it. Yellow. Would you make 50 Slices of Doctor Who? No. I think I'm done with 50 Slices parodies. Um, 50 Slices of Bonding was the name of my James Bond parody. Sounds. I know what you're thinking. It sounds like the film you're thinking about. But no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm doing more dramas now, more serious stuff. When did you first start wearing makeup? I don't really wear makeup on camera. I don't know where you get this from, to be honest. I wear makeup on stage because I have to for the lighting, but I don't wear makeup in person. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but if you have, then you've got your facts wrong there. Sorry, pal, but uh, ooh, loads of questions. Lovely. Okay. Right. Sorry, I've lost my place. I'm trying to get back to the questions. Uh, Okay. I think I've lost some of these. Sorry, I think some of these have disappeared, so I'm just going to have to do what I can. What was it like meeting Peter Capaldi? I've never met Peter Capaldi. I've seen him from a distance, but he seemed very nice. Again, I don't know where you're getting this information from. What is your opinion on Kung Fu Panda? If you're talking about the first one, really good, really enjoy it. If you're talking about the franchise in general, it's a mixed bag. Do you have tips for staying mindful at the moment? Um, yeah, I don't know. Just try and focus on the balance of things. Like, yeah, if certain things are bad, fine. Obviously, if you can't avoid them, fine. Focus on that, but try to highlight good aspects, and then you might stay level-headed. Oh, thank you, Jermaine. Yes, yeah, it was great to see Revenge of the Sith for its 20th anniversary. Um, and it did bring back so many good memories of seeing it the first time in 2005. So, yeah, it's definitely the best of George's prequels, without question. Which Hogwarts houses would you put the Raimi Spider-Man characters in? Oh God. I'm not going to do every character, but I'll do a few. So Tobey Maguire would be, even though he does turn into a bit of an asshole in the third, I still put him in Gryffindor. Mary Jane, Ravenclaw. Harry Osborn, Ravenclaw. Green Goblin, as in Norman Osborn, Slytherin. Harry Osborn, Ravenclaw. Sandman, Hufflepuff. Doc Ock, Hufflepuff. Eddie Brock, Slytherin. J. Jonah Jameson, Ravenclaw. Aunt May, Gryffindor. Uncle Ben, Gryffindor. That's enough. Would you ever make an apology video if you did something wrong? Yeah, I would. If it was serious, then yes. Otherwise, I'd just apologize to the person privately, because why make a spectacle out of it unless you need to? Would you ever do a panel of reviewers together? Yeah, I would be. I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, depends what it's about, but yeah. What advice would you give to someone looking for their passion in life? Might not be easy to find, but sometimes it takes the lowest of the low moments to get that fire back in your belly, and that's what happened with me. I was at my lowest low and just completely depressed, and then one day I was just at work and I just thought, you know what, I want to go to uni. It just hit me. I just saw the advertisement for my uni online on Facebook, and I just thought, I want to have one last go at this, because if I don't, then my soul is completely going to be crushed. So yeah, and I'm glad I did it. It was worth it. So I'm not saying get depressed. I'm not saying, get miserable to find that, but sometimes you get those moments that will ignite that. But aside from that, I'd say look at your interests and just see, what are you most interested in? What can you realistically do in today's world to accommodate a career? That's all I can really say. Favorite Lion King character? Oh, that's a good question. Oh, no, I have a favorite, to be honest. They're good. I'll go with Timon and Pumbaa. What would you do if aliens landed on Earth? I'd wonder why, first of all, and I'd probably try not to engage with them unless I knew they weren't harmful. Who would, or what is your spirit animal? No idea, to be honest. Who do you think would win in a fight, Batman or Superman? I don't know. That's a good question, because Superman has more powers, but then he can fly. Technically, Batman also has the technology, but I think I'm going to say Superman, because the flight would probably give him the slight edge to dodge things. Favorite movie that starts with the letter G? Oh gosh, well, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, is always a good one. When did Martin Campbell fail with GoldenEye but succeed with Casino Royale? Tone. I think the tone of GoldenEye was a little bit weird. I mean, it tried to go a bit serious, and then some of the comedy didn't quite balance out for me. But I still think it's a good film, but I just think Casino Royale is a lot slicker as a film. What is something that you're really bad at? Yeah, I don't know, really. What am I really bad at? Drawing. I can't draw to save my own life. Harry Thomas can draw really well. I can't. I was terrible at art. It's not one of my talents. I'm no good at it. No matter how hard I try, I can draw stick men and like blocky characters, but my drawings could be compared to toddlers. It's really that bad. I hate doing storyboards, so I don't storyboard my movies. Yeah, there's a lot of things that Frozen Wish Studios does, which I try not to pay attention to. What are the best pizza topping combinations? Oh, good question. I like ham and mushroom, meat feast, pepperoni. I like the meaty ones personally, but I'm also just happy with the margarita. To be honest, boring. Yeah, I know, but still. If you could be any kitchen utensil, what would it be? What a strange question. Probably a spatula. What is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten? There was one time I went to a chili festival when I was younger. I tried this super hot chili and it tasted like licorice. It was really hot. It was really odd. I don't know if it had been mixed with something, or maybe it was also an aftertaste of something else I'd eaten. But yeah, it tasted really weird. What would you find in your backpack if I opened it right now? My glasses case. I keep my glasses case in there. Favorite Linkin Park song? What I've Done. Trolls was uninspired. Yes. How dare you say that, Declan? You're the worst. Shut up, Alex. If you had to eat one type of food for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? Spaghetti bolognese. It's my favorite meal ever. And why not is the answer to that. What would a world populated by clones of me be like? Well, from my point of view, very disconcerting. Seeing myself everywhere would be so weird. But to other people, I don't know. You'd have to ask them. What's your opinion on Illumination? I don't hate them. Like, I'm not a big fan of their movies, but then I'm not the target audience, so I can sort of disassociate from them. I think they're too reliant on the minions to sell them, and I think that's a marketing ploy that's running out of steam very soon. I just want them to be more creative with the writing of their films. I think they need to hire better writers for their films. But the movies they make are harmless, but they're just not very good as far as I'm concerned. But I don't hate them as a company. I mean, if they're bringing in the big bucks at the moment, then that's only a good thing, especially with the way cinema's going. We need those big kids movies to sell the cinemas. Otherwise, there's just no point. PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360? PS3. I've always been a PlayStation guy. Yeah, you're right, Golden 15. Yeah. He does cry a lot, doesn't he? If you're in the Star Wars universe, what planet would you live on? Either Utapau or Mustafar. I know Mustafar is very hot with all the lava, but it's just so cool, isn't it? Because the lightsaber fight, the way the arm just drops into the lava, like you'd have so much fun. It's like an obstacle course there. What actors and actresses play the same character in almost every movie or TV show? I think Nicolas Cage, very similar actor, plays himself a lot. In terms of actresses, I don't know. That's a tricky one. Tricky. Don't know about actresses. As much as I love her in this film, in Casino Royale, Eva Green, I think is quite a samey actress. She does tend to always have that croaky little voice here in her throat. I mean, sometimes she'll change aspects of her character, but generally, I've always found her characterization to be kind of the same, with the possible exception of Casino Royale. Which MCU film do you think Loki is best in? Probably the first Avengers film. Well, in the UK, it's called Avengers Assemble, but in obviously the US, it's just the Avengers. If your job gave you a surprise 3-day paid break, what would you do? I don't know. Probably go to the movies, see my friends. If not, if they weren't available, go and have a short break somewhere. When did you become open about living in London? I don't live in London. Where are you getting this information, man? What? Who's telling you this? I don't live in London. I live near London. I live with my parents in a town, in a sort of county that's just outside of London. I'm not going to say exactly where, but when I went to university in London, but I never lived there. You need to check your facts before you ask me questions. Did you know Ben Foster helped the Beatles with their song? No, I didn't know that. What invention doesn't get a lot of love but has greatly improved the world? I don't know, man. I've got no idea, to be honest. Do you think this sped up footage from Thunderball sucks? Yeah, I think it does, actually. If someone narrated your life, who would you want to be the narrator? David Attenborough, because he's got that soothing voice. It would work. What problem are you currently grappling with? To be honest, well, I suppose mental health, my physical life situation. I can't move out, for various reasons, and trying to achieve my career, which I'll talk about later. If magic was real, what spell would you try and learn first? Expelliarmus. Yeah. Which celebrity or band has the worst fan base? I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I'm not a music person. Thoughts on Quentin Tarantino's version of Casino Royale that was going to have Pierce Brosnan? There's not much I can say because it never happened, but I think it would have been probably more violent than what we got. Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe it would have been just as ridiculous as the parody. Who knows? I don't really know. I don't know how Brosnan would have sold it, to be honest. I mean, especially if they have the love story with Vespa, I don't know how that would have worked. If animals could talk, which animal would be the most annoying? Probably a donkey. Do you eat food that's past its expiration date if it still smells and looks fine? No. No. What tips or tricks have you picked up from your jobs? I don't know what tips for what. Life tips. I mean, if you're talking about financial tips, none. But if you're talking about like tips on how to get through the jobs, one day at a time, I suppose. Just be patient and calm. That's all I can do. If you're gonna have an all expenses paid trip to see any famous world monument, what would you choose? Probably the Taj Mahal. My most recent lie. That's a bit of a weird question. Not really sure. What's the most pleasant sounding accent? Some people would say the British accent, my accent, but I quite like the Australian accent. I'm not going to lie; it's very soothing for the ears. It does indeed provoke a very nice sound. Or then you could perhaps say that the Irish accent is also very soothing, but it depends on which part of Ireland you're from. So you choose. Or the American accent, which I hear a lot of people speak anyway. So I don't know. But those are the ones that I think are most pleasing. Or like Shrek, the Scottish accent. You're going the right way for a snack bottom, you are. Favorite MCU movie? Avengers Endgame. Where's your go-to restaurant for amazing food? I like Nando's. It's becoming one of my favorites. Is there an action sequence or action set piece from Terminator 1 or 2 which doesn't impress you or find to be overrated? No, I think they're all good, to be honest. Are you looking forward to James Gunn's Superman? Yeah, I am. But in a world of oversaturated superhero movies, I really hope it's going to do something special. As long as it's better than Man of Steel, I'll be happy. What animal would be the most terrifying if it could speak? Probably a bat. What is the worst film you've ever seen in your life? Food Fight, the animated film. That is awful. But non-animated, probably the 50 Shades trilogy. They're so bad. They really are. Which James Bond actor do you think would work the best with Ricardo Montalban? If he got a villain. Oh, Yeah, missed opportunity having Ricardo Montalban. They could have actually had him play Fran Sanchez in License to Kill. So I think for that reason, Timothy Dalton would probably work the best with him because they're both quite dramatic actors. What about humans confuses you the most? I have to be honest. Dating, dating women. I'm sorry. I mean, no disrespect to any women who are watching this. I've dated a couple of women in the last few months, and yeah, I still don't understand. One minute it's all very high and it's on the right direction, and then it just suddenly turns, and then it's suddenly not working out for whatever reason. It confuses me. Their thought process confuses me. But again, I'm not here to pick faults. It's just my experience. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'm back on the app, swiping away, but yeah, sometimes I just get confused. But there we are. What do you think has been blown way out of proportion? I don't know. I think the Star Wars, the Last Jedi thing has been really blown out of proportion. That's gone on too long. Like people are still going on about that. Like, come on, leave Ryan Johnson alone. He just made the film how he wanted to make it. And okay, yeah, if you didn't like it, fine. But to say he ruined your childhood and did all this crap, like, come on, have a bit of perspective. Uh, what kind of things do you like to cook? I don't get to cook that much because of my family, but I enjoy cooking bacon and eggs. That's fun. I enjoy cooking pasta, um, steak, anything really. I don't mind cooking. I just don't get to do it very much. Uh, favorite English actor or actress from Terminator? Don't really remember any of the English cast, to be honest. You'll have to remind me. When was the last time you yelled at someone? When I was in a group chat yesterday, and there was a post or two shared about Branch Troll Fanboy 2009 and Alex, and I was yelling down the voice note about that, not towards the people in the group, but just about what was posted and how Alex and Branch are just fucking evil. But in terms of face to face, yeah, no, there's not been any major things recently. I'm generally quite calm, to be honest. Um, do you think humans will ever be able to live in harmony? Some of them. Favorite food? Spaghetti bolognese. I've already answered that. The scariest non-horror film. Um, I don't know. I don't know really. I think. Whew, that's good. That's a good question. I mean, it's not really a film, and it's still kind of horror. But Doctor Who Midnight is pretty freaky, with the way that the characters keep repeating each other. Who would you say is your biggest inspiration? Peter Jackson. His work on Lord of the Rings inspired me to pursue the filmmaking course that I went on. So I've got to hand it to PJ. What is the grossest food that you just can't get enough of? No idea at all. Have you seen Little Shop of Horrors, 1986? Yes, I've seen the film. Actually, fun fact, I performed in the show, in the amateur version of the show. I voiced the plant. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me now. I had to do some singing in that show, which was challenging. And I was off stage singing to a brick wall. Feed me, Seymour. But it was interesting, being in a show and actually not being seen until the very end when you go on for the battle. I was just cast as the voice, but it was so good. It was so much fun, and I had such a great time doing it. But the film is good. The ending's obviously very different though. So if you've seen the show and the film, you'll notice the endings are different. What scientific discovery would change the course of humanity? Why your questions are varied. The cure for cancer, I think. That'd be the biggest change. The cure for all diseases. Oh, excuse me. Oh, what movie or book do you know the most quotes from? Um, More movies. I'd say probably Harry Potter. I know a lot of quotes from that. Skyfall, Lord of the Rings. Like more of my favorite stuff I know from. Also Shrek. I could probably quote Shrek quite a lot. Brand am I most loyal to? What brand specifically, or just brand in general? Because if it's general, I don't really know. But for example, if it's gaming, I'd say well, PlayStation. Or if it's clothes, it varies, to be honest. So you might have to be more specific because I'm not too sure. It's the most awkward thing that happens to you on a regular basis. No idea at all. Where are you not welcome anymore? That's a bit of a weird question. No idea. What did you Google last? No, I didn't go on Google today. So, what's a common experience for many people you've never experienced? Marriage. I'm not married, so that's one thing I've never done yet. So hopefully that'll be something I can tick off the bucket list. My goodness me, your questions are random. What's the longest rabbit hole you've been down? None, to be honest, my friend. I don't know. Yeah, you're starting to scare me with your questions, to be honest. Favorite action scene from the Daniel Craig Bond films? Good question. Thank you. Back to the real world. Look, oh, so many. I really love the climax in Skyfall. I think that's awesome. In the house, it's something you wouldn't expect in a Bond movie, and the visuals for that are stunning, especially in the frozen lake section when he's running towards the church. That is incredible. What odd smell do you really enjoy? No idea, man. Which apocalyptic dystopia do you think is most likely? Probably The Last of Us. Disease, I think, is what would probably, like an infection, a disease would probably cause a global pandemic and ruin us. But let's hope not. Fingers crossed. Jared, hello. Finally, you can restore some order in this chat. I'm only joking. Who in your life has the best, worst luck? It's hard to say because, I don't know. Like some people have more bad luck than others, yes, but I don't know specifically because I'm not in people's lives every minute of every day, so it's hard to say. What is the most anxiety-inducing thing you do on a regular basis? God, I don't know. You're asking me some good questions, but I don't know. Overthink, I guess. Yeah. What do you always misspell? None, to be honest. In terms of your Blumhouse movies question, not really sure, to be honest. I don't think I've seen many of those other films. What's the cutest thing you imagine? I don't know. I wouldn't say anything so cute it's painful. I don't know. Like, I imagine in the future, if I ever had kids, that would be kind of cute to look at, of course. But beyond that, I don't really know. How much do you plan, prepare for the future? As much as I can, but obviously life has its own ideas. So yeah. Your least favorite moment or sequence from a Bond franchise? The windsurfing scene in Die Another Day. Awful, awful scene. Yeah, no, exactly. Branch is deluded. He's no better than Alex, but he basically copies his style anyway. I don't like either of them. They're both fucking nutters. What would be the most unsettling thing to keep occasionally finding around your house? Don't know. And then it got worse story. And then it got worse story. Guess probably pandemic when I was in my lowest low, probably in my depression. 2020 into 2021, my mental health just got worse. Guess that's all I can say about that. Hello. What word do you always mispronounce? You've asked me that, and I don't know. So sorry. I haven't watched the third Trolls movie yet. I have been requested to review it by Ross, and I will get to that as soon as I can. But yeah, I didn't like the first two, so I'm not expecting to enjoy it. What would be the worst food to be liquefied and drunk through a straw? Steak. That'd be a bit rough, wouldn't it? If you're talking about like when the Star Trek reboot happened, when the 2009 movie was more of an action movie, I can understand why they sort of updated it. For the market. They wanted to sell the film, and they thought, well, by making it an action film, they sort of figure it might perform better at the box office. But yeah, it does kind of take away from what Star Trek originally was. So it's hard to say. Maybe it was a desperate call. I don't know, but because I'm not much of a Trekkie, as you say. But I think it's a decision that it's going to, it's going to divide people. Some will love it, others won't. Yeah. I don't know how to answer these questions. Perfect room temperature depends on the weather, really. I mean, currently I've got my air conditioner on because it's been warm today. I don't really have a room temperature. I have to keep my window open for ventilation, so I just deal with whatever it is, really. Thoughts about Shrek 5 going into the real world? Oh, oh no. I'd say to the animators, for 5 minutes, could you not be yourself? For 5 minutes! Oh, for God's sake. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Shrek is going to be ruined, but there we are. What do you do to relax and let off steam? I do YouTube, like this. I either do YouTube, I see my friends, watch movies, just spend time with other people as well. It just depends on the day. I didn't climb many trees as a child. I think mainly because I was too nervous to. I climbed one or two, but I was always more of an introvert, so I was never that keen on it, to be honest. But yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah. It's not hard to see why Alex is so despised by everybody, me included. I can't stand the guy. I think he's a prick. I don't care if you see this, Alex. You come after my friends, I come after you. What job are you grossly underqualified for? We think you'd be pretty good at. Hmm. That's a good question. It's almost a bit of a contradiction to say that, but I don't know. I can't answer that because I don't think there's anything that I would be good at if I was underqualified. I guess, well, probably retail manager. Like managing a shop. I've been given some leadership roles in the past for some jobs, um, but I've built that up through experience, not really qualifications. So that might be the closest thing. Do you prefer to be too hot or too cold? I prefer to be too cold because it's far easier to warm up than it is to cool down. Most brutal Optimus Prime kill you can think of. Um, Probably when he kills all of the, well, some of, no, actually, I'm going to say when he kills Sentinel Prime in Dark of the Moon, because there's more history there and it's more impactful. How would you like to see the education system change? Ooh, well, I just think, mental well-being is one thing. Making more of an effort for pastoral care. Um, I think work-life balance as well is one thing. Teachers obviously have a lot on their plate, and sometimes they have to take their work home with them. So providing, the demands of the job maybe being altered slightly, job sharing more maybe, a salary increase as well would be good. What is the cutest animal that you've encountered? Probably a cat. How much of an accent do you think you have? I feel like I've always had this accent. Even when I was younger, I was fairly well spoken. Um, Sometimes my voice might alter slightly depending on who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to someone who talks a bit more like this, a bit more London, Essex, Eastern, I go, Yeah, all right, man, how's it going? You know, that kind of thing. I sort of try to mold it to not intentionally. Sometimes I subconsciously just sort of lower my voice and speak a bit more loosely, just to sort of feel like I belong in that social group. If that makes sense. Maybe it's just a coping mechanism, but generally speaking, I talk like this. Um, unless I'm performing, I do another voice. So I have the ability to change my voice, which is not something everyone could do. So I'm proud of that, for one thing. God, you ask some really bizarre questions. When you fidget, what do you do? Well, I move around. You know, I fidget, I scratch. You know, that's what fidgeting is. Yeah. What trend do you think is on its way out? Don't know. I really don't know. You can rename your country or state. Would you rename it and why? I don't think I would rename it, to be honest. I think it's fine the way it is. Alex needs to stop with his crap. Yes, he does need to stop with it. And he needs to stop playing the victim. Stop bullying me right now. Ugh, make me sick, Alex. What about modern society baffles you? The economy. The last movie I watched in the cinema, the last film I saw it in cinema. Ooh, probably Thunderbolts, I would say. How much faith do you put in humanity? 50-50. Top 3 or 5 Star Trek movie villains. Can't remember all the villains, but my favorite, I'll give you my favorite one, and that's Khan. Ricardo Montalban's Khan. Favorite Abby moments from Primeval. The fight with Caroline was good. The kiss with Connor, finally, which was really good. The oh god, what else? What else was there? There's a moment when she confronted the leopard. Was it the leopard? Yeah, the leopard in the last episode of series 2. I thought that was well done. Favorite movie that came out last year? Wicked Part 1. Okay, Jared, I'll give it a go. Okay, here's my impression of Lambo. Lambo Rock Strikes Back singing here in Penis Town. Here in Penis Town, we don't fuck around. We'll go kill ourselves. No, that was absolutely terrible. You are, without question, the worst person I've heard today. You will never be a pop star. It is an absolute categorical never. Now get out. How good are you at admitting when you're wrong? I'd say pretty good, to be fair. How forgiving are you? I'd like to think I'm pretty forgiving. How do you feel about snakes and spiders? I don't mind them from afar. I don't like to get too close, but I don't mind them. Hello, Gerald. How well do you take criticism? I try to take it fairly well. I try not to get too insulted if I can. Depends on what it is, really. What's something that unnerves you, but the majority of people don't seem to be bothered by? Sometimes when you talk to people and they are responding to you and they're obviously trying to be nice and whatever, but they almost sound very robotic. Like they're like, "Oh yes, love it. Oh yes. Oh yeah. Thank you." Like all that sort of like, "Oh, thank you very much." Like I know they're trying to be polite, but sometimes it feels like they would say it to anyone, and they don't let you finish what you're speaking. Like when they sort of overcut you in mid speech, and that's my pet peeve. It gets on my nerves. Have you thought about being a stand-up comedian? No, not for me. I mean, thank you for the vote of confidence, but no, I don't think I have the confidence for that. I don't think I'd have the material either. Thoughts on John Campier? Is that the flick pig? If so, I think he's fine. Yeah, very loud in his videos. Or am I getting confused with Sean Chandler? Yeah, I think I've seen John Campier before. Well, I can't really answer that question because I wasn't born 2,000 years ago. But we've obviously evolved on a technological level. So there's that. Favorite memories with my family. Holidays with family are lovely. Christmas, birthdays, Easters. Anytime my family come to watch me in a show is really nice. I appreciate that. Yeah, just general stuff really. And graduation as well. That was the special memory. I haven't yet seen the Tag HD Walsh's video on Alex, so I can't answer that question. Sorry. Which fight scene do you prefer? I'd say the one from Primeval, actually. Relationships with your friends or family more important? Both are equally important. When are you at your happiest? When I'm doing something creative. What's your type of funny video to watch? I like funny movie reviews or like parodies of movies or edits of some kind. Yeah, I used to make some stupid edits on my channel. I used to have fun doing that. What new language would you like to learn the most? German, because my grandmother is German. I mean, I was given the chance to do it at school, but I was already learning 2 other languages, so it would have been too confusing, I think, to try and keep up with all of those. But yeah, maybe one day I'll learn it for the sake of my heritage. Is there any place in the world you'd like to travel? New Zealand. What scene from a movie still haunts you? What's a good question? Oh, that's a very good question. I think A Quiet Place, where Emily Blunt's character is giving birth in the bathtub, and she's bleeding, and then she has to really resist the urge to scream, and then she does scream eventually. It's so intense. Do you prefer shopping online or in person? In person. What do you probably spend too much money or time on that's worth it? My hobby, amateur theatre. So I perform in shows in theatre for fun. I'm not professional. I don't get paid for it. I have to pay to do it. And some of the shows I do involve traveling. So I have to get on the train and travel to various places. So it does take a lot of my wages. But it's worth it for my mental health. I think Steve Jablonsky would do a good job. Yeah, I think he's very talented. Would you rather take a walk through a forest or along a beach? Forest. Are you a morning person or a night person? Morning person. Do you like the movie theatre popcorn with butter or without? Well, ours don't really have butter in the UK. Ours is made with oil, I think, like olive oil. I To give you another answer, I prefer like salted popcorn. So I like mine really salty with, I guess maybe there is a bit of butter, but it's not that noticeable, to be honest. Was there something in the United States you're interested in? No, when I went to the US before, it was part of college trip. So, well, the first time I went was with my school. We did a space camp trip. So we also did a bit of sightseeing, but we went to this space camp center and got to work in this sort of simulatory space shuttle, which was fun. Just fun. The second time I went was with college, and we went to the NBC studios in New York, which was really fun. But it was freezing because it was February. What was your favorite class at school? Drama, as in like acting. Favorite Aragorn moments or lines? His speech from Return of the King, undoubtedly his best line. So good. Songs do you know every word to? Probably the songs, like Disney songs. Like I grew up watching a lot of Disney animated films, so I'm not really a music person, but those like those songs, I only like some musical songs I like. It's the most useful thing you own. Probably this computer that I'm talking to you on right now. It helps me with my daily life. I edit a lot of videos on here, not just YouTube, but for other people. It helped me get my uni work done. I could work from home a lot, so that was fun. The last time you worked incredibly hard, probably for my dissertation, which is the final essay you do for uni. I had to put a lot of time into that to the point where I actually quit a job to finish my essay, and it was worth it. Thoughts on when Jeremy Jahns did blackface? Not sure, to be honest. I don't. I think I might have tuned out of Jeremy Jahns before then, but I didn't hear good things, so I don't imagine I would have liked it. Pacific Rim or Godzilla versus Kong? Godzilla versus Kong, actually. Where do you spend most of your free time? I've already answered that. What animal, insect do you wish humans could eradicate? None. My favorite season. I kind of like autumn because it's autumn spring because it's sort of in between winter and summer, where it's not really one extreme weather. It's not too cold or it's not too hot. It's sort of warm, mild. I think that's the best kind of weather. Which is more important, having a great car or house? Well, house, so you can have a roof over your head. You need a place to live. Otherwise, having a car is pointless. Which recent news story is the most interesting? Probably the death of the Pope. Actually, that was well, I'd say interesting, but obviously very sad. But it's the most important, I think. So rest in peace to the Pope. Yeah, John, that was uncalled for. Yeah, when John Campea said the N word, yeah, uncalled for, completely uncalled for. If you had to change your name, what would your new name be? I'm not going to tell you. No. I don't know. If I had to change my first name, I like the name Max. That would be cool, but I wouldn't change my surname. Oh, excuse me. How should successes be measured? It depends on the person. It depends on what the person wants to achieve and how they're going to achieve it. I think success should be measured by sacrifice and determination and not throwing in the towel. And ability as well comes into that. So I don't think there's any one person I know more successful than someone else. Just sometimes the matter of time that someone achieves things is different. I can't pick one person, but sorry, I hope I've answered the first question. My guilty pleasure. Ooh. My guilty pleasure. Playing some of the old games that I used to play as a kid. I've still got quite a lot of my old games, PS2. I know call me a big kid if you like, but I do have fun with that. What's your opinion of Ralph Breaks the Internet? It's good. From what I remember, I enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. Pancakes or waffles? Pancakes. Opinion on the gag reel? Sorry, I haven't seen it. I really haven't seen it. Alex gives cinema a bad name. He gives humanity a bad name. Favorite movie that starts with the letter H? Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Which Tomb Raider timeline do you prefer? I haven't played all the games, so I'm not sure if I can answer that. But that's the tricky one. I can't answer it. I haven't played all the games, but the movies. I'll say for the movies. Well, there's only 3, but I like the Alicia Vikander one actually quite a bit. I think it's very underrated, to be honest. What's the most hilarious movie scene that you've ever seen? Oh God, that's tricky. There's some funny scenes in James Bond, like when Bond and Grace Jones sleep together. That's kind of funny. I don't know about most hilarious. I'd have to think about that. Silliest fear I have. Don't know. I was afraid of heights for a while. What was the best period of your life so far? Many different times. So sometimes when I'm doing a show that I have quite a big part in, I consider that a highlight. I think one of the best periods of my life was definitely my graduation. Uni, even though it was hard, it was probably one of the best periods of my life, and it encouraged me that I could actually go and achieve what I want. So yeah, that's it really. And obviously, yeah, like I said, socializing with friends. I've had some lovely memories with my friends, like parties and all of that, and filming. I love filming, filming my films. What am I best at? Probably vocal impressions. Well, I hope I'm good at my filmmaking, but obviously I'll leave that to the audience to decide. And performing. It's one of the few skills I actually think I'm quite good at, but I don't want to sound vain when I say that. What's the best sitcom, past or present? Well, my favourite one is The Vicar of Dibley, but I don't know about present ones. Wow, there's a lot of these questions are from you. Okay. What is the most overrated movie? Let's think about that. Anchorman is one I don't particularly care for. Everyone loves it. I'm not huge on it, to be honest. Favorite genre of movie? Again, I don't really have one. But as a kid, I would have probably said like sci-fi fantasy because I loved Star Wars and I loved like fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. So yeah, probably sci-fi fantasy, but I do like other ones. Which do you prefer, books or movies? Movies. What movie scene choked you up the most? Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, director. No, I'm only joking. In terms of what scene makes me emotional, Inside Out's ending makes me very emotional when Riley actually lets out her depression. She confronts her sadness and reveals to her parents how she's feeling. That gets me. And when Bing Bong dies, that's also very sad as well. Yeah, there's others. I mean, there's other scenes as well, but I mean, the majority of Schindler's List is incredibly sad to watch. So there is also that. Favorite drink for a movie viewing or a video game play? Anything really. I mean, I'm a sucker for a soft drink, or if I'm drinking alcohol, I tend to go for beer. So depends. Do you like documentaries? I like behind the scenes documentaries for films, but I'm not too big on documentaries generally. They just never appealed to me, to be honest. I always preferred narrative fiction. It was just my preference. I just got the most entertainment out of it. The worst movie you've seen recently? Until Dawn. What's the strangest movie you've ever seen? Well, Food Fight, the animated film, is pretty strange. But aside that, probably the first Spy Kids movie, or the Spy Kids movies in general, are very weird. Robert Rodriguez makes some weird kids movies. That and Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Me and my sister watched that film as a kid a lot. Surprisingly, we enjoyed it as kids, but looking back on it, it makes no sense. I may have to talk about that film one day because that is a hodgepodge of a movie, and the effects. Oh my gosh! Do you like horror movies? I like certain horror films. I'm not as big into horror as some people. I do find it kind of a generic genre, but there's the odd few that I do enjoy. Favorite Tim Burton film you've seen? Oh, good question. Probably Batman Returns, I would say. Do movies have the same power as books to change the world? Yes. Do you prefer to watch movies at the theatre or at home? The cinema, or theatre as you say in America. What was your favourite book as a child? Harry Potter. Movie character you can relate to the most? It's a very good question. I don't know if there's one character I do relate to the most, to be honest. Maybe some of the Harry Potter characters, because at the time I was growing up, they were not much older than me. Well, when you get to the middle of the series, anyway. What is your favorite movie soundtrack? The Lord of the Rings. How has technology changed the music industry? Well, it's definitely become easier to probably fix some things with technology and probably speed up the process of recording and editing. But I'm not a music person, so I don't know the details. But that's what I would imagine. Which do you prefer, popular music or unknown music? Again, I'm not really a music person, but I'll say my sort of go-to music is film music. I like listening to film soundtracks. Call me boring, but that's that's my opinion. Favorite James Gunn film you've seen? Guardians of the Galaxy 3. What bands or types of music do you listen to when you exercise? Again, I keep having to say this. I don't really listen to many Bands. I'm sorry. What are the three best apps on your phone? No idea, to be honest. I'll have a look at my phone right now, shall I? Well, there's YouTube. There's Cineworld, which is my cinema app, so that's one. And what else? Tesco Club Card app. Or Hinge, the dating app. There you go. That answers the question. I hope. Oh yeah, no, it's fine, Jason. I knew why you asked. I'm happy to indulge. No, it's fine. There's the original clip is embarrassingly hilarious. It's the most frustrating app you've tried. Probably previous dating apps that have never worked. How often do I check my phone? Like every day. God, you're asking me literally everything. Wow. Do you text more or call more? Well, probably text. Do you experience phone phantom vibration? No. Do you ever? I'm guessing you mean catch up with Jack. That question is phrased a bit, could be misconstrued. I'll say no. I'm Jack and I aren't really friends anymore. I hope he's doing well. I'm sure, like the dust has settled now, whatever. But yeah, our friendship wasn't really working out, to be honest. Probably from both sides, from my side, and his side. But I wish the guy well. I hope he's all right. I don't know how to answer that. Which Doctor has the funniest moments for you? David Tennant and Tom Baker. Which sci-fi movie or book would you like the future to be like? I guess if it counts, Star Wars. Personal goals do you have? Okay, so now I'm going to touch on what I was talking about earlier, which is my career plans. So I am actually planning to become a teacher in film. I want to teach film to people. So I'm in the process of applying for a PGCE, which in the UK is a postgraduate certificate of education. And the reason I'm doing this is because it will be a steady 9 to 5 job, Monday to Friday. Work-life balance will be better, and I'll be on a salary, so I can actually have more money and manage it, unlike my current situation. So I might be able to actually afford to, rent somewhere else and support myself. There's a lot of things I also need to do, like learn to drive. I've been trying to learn to drive on and off for many years, but it's so expensive, which is why I'm dragging myself along through it. But yeah, I have the degree, which I have enough grades to apply for it, to apply for teaching, and I'd have to do 1 year's worth of training, which is nothing. A year is fine. So yeah, that's it really. The Running Man. Yeah, I might see that. Yeah. How much do you plan for the future? You've already asked me that. You've already asked me about my parents. Thoughts on Teen Titans? If you goals you failed to accomplish, driving, partly because of the expense and partly because of ability. It's taken me a while, but getting there. But do I want to retire? At the legal retirement age, well, in my 60s, that's a way off yet. Thoughts on the Bambi horror movie? Not seen it. Sorry. Yeah, I do try and watch films that win awards because obviously there's buzz and there's hype surrounding them. I might not always agree with everything that people say about them. I might not always say they're perfect, but I like to give them a shot. Do you think the Batman Part 2 will be cancelled? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I'd say film age ratings are mostly effective. How do you choose which movie to watch? Well, I usually go to the cinema when new releases come out, and I just see what interests me. To be honest, I kind of look at the trailer. To be honest, I look at the trailers and see, will this see something I'm interested in, or if I'm going to just review it for the channel anyway, I'll just go and see it. So, but yeah, sometimes if there's a director that I like, I'll seek out their next work and then specifically go for it. But it really depends, to be honest. Do you like animated movies? Yes, I've reviewed several animated films on my channel. Thought you would have known that by now. Go and watch my reviews on this channel. Talk about someone that you think is very talented at acting. Um, yeah, I think that's to be honest, Ariana Grande. I think she's a better actress than a lot of people say she is. In the Wicked film, she's incredible. I think she's gonna have a lot more work in the future. Most beautiful actress in the world. Well, Ariana Grande is beautiful. I was always attracted to Emma Watson when I was a kid. Same with Bonnie Wright, but the Harry Potter stars. Amanda Seyfried is attractive. Margot Robbie. There's many more, but they're pretty beautiful. The most handsome actor. I don't really know. I mean, I'm not actually gay, so wouldn't say I'm attracted to any men. But there are some handsome looking guys. I guess David Tennant was probably one, sort of in terms of him being a pretty boy. Hayden Christensen from Star Wars has often been hailed as one of the more handsome guys. So yeah, is going to the movies too expensive? It depends because I have a membership, so I pay a monthly fee for my membership to Cineworld. I get free tickets. If you go to IMAX and 4DX, like the other formats, if you go to them quite a lot, it could be very expensive. It depends how often you go. If you go once in a blue moon, it's not going to make a difference because you're only going to pay the fees like every once in a few weeks or whatever. But for someone like me, investing in the membership was good because that means I can just scan my card and get a free ticket. Also, if you buy the snacks all the time, that also adds up to the cost. So it depends. It's the worst movie you've ever seen. I've already answered that. Do you look forward to any upcoming movies? Yes, yeah, I'm looking forward to the new Mission Impossible. That should be good. Wicked for good. Really looking forward to that. No, Avatar: Fire and Ash. Give examples of good sequels. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and At World's End. Not everybody likes them, but I think they're really good actually. The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. They're very good. Well, the thing is, like, I watch movies in English because I am English. Like, what? Like, I didn't learn English from movies. I was born in England. I don't get your question, but from someone who's not living in England, just turn the subtitles on. Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Like, yeah. I haven't seen that many foreign films, so I'm sorry I can't answer your question. I don't mind the subtitles for a foreign language film. It's understandable. I know some people like to put subtitles on for generic movies, for like normal movies. I find that distracting. But for a foreign film, I understand more. Thoughts on Christian Bale's Batman voice? It's a little bit over the top, but it kind of works. It's a smart idea to disguise his voice. None of the other actors did that. So it was an original idea that I think did work. But occasionally, you went a bit too mean with it. What do you like to eat or drink while watching a film? When I'm in the cinema, I have a salted popcorn and a drink of Diet Coke. That does me. How long should a movie be? How long is too long? I've answered this before. It depends on the film. It depends. What's the best sequel you've ever seen in your life? Ooh. The Empire Strikes Back is probably up there. Terminator 2 is another one. It's another one. So probably between them two. What's Avatar saying about our world? We should take better care of it. We should take care of our oceans and our forests, and we should, try to prevent global warming. That's essentially what Avatar is. It's a propaganda movie about those things, as well as it being in this other alien world. It deals with a lot of human things, which is ironic. I heard Alex was telling his mum to shut up. Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me. How often do you watch movies? Yeah, quite frequently because I go to the cinema a lot. So yeah. Do movies ever make you cry? Sometimes. Were movies better in the past? Not necessarily. I mean, it varies. It depends on your preference, really. Some are better now. Some new ones are really, really good now. Other old ones weren't so good, or vice versa. It just depends. Have you ever walked out halfway through a film? No, but I was tempted to walk out of the Emoji Movie. Favorite anime you've ever watched, if any? I've not really seen anime series, but I did see the Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim anime, which I loved. Thought that was incredible. Any advice looking for a job? Um, yeah, it's going to take more time now than it ever used to find a job. It took me nearly 2 months to get this crap job that I've got. It's going to be a struggle. So just brace yourself for the struggle. That's all I'll say. And there's a lot of people competing against you. Even the shit jobs are having like hundreds of people apply. So I would just take it in your stride. If it's a rejection, it's a rejection. But make sure that you're financially secure, or you at least can rely on parents or another source of income if you're struggling with money. So, yeah. Which movie has the best soundtrack? Already answered this. What was the first film I saw in cinema? Okay. God, I'm for goodness sake, I can't find your oh. Okay, there we are. Have you ever downloaded a movie illegally? No. What's more important? A good story is more important. Yeah, I mean anything Alex does, I'm not surprised about anymore. I mean, even if he comes after me, I don't give a fuck. He's just so pathetic. Are there any film genre that everyone loves but you can't stand? Not really. I don't hate any genre. I don't watch all of them, but I try to be open to most genres now. Most anticipated movie for the rest of the year. Wicked for Good is my most anticipated film of this year. 2026, not sure what's coming out. I need to have a look at it. What movie never fails to make you happy? Skyfall. Favorite Star Wars villain introduced in the prequels? Um, I mean, Darth Maul's really cool, isn't he? He just look the makeup and everything looks amazing. I would probably say him. Yeah, I mean, if Harry asked me, I would love to voice act in his films. I've offered to him, but obviously it's his choice. It's up to him. But yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to do it. Thoughts on Brother Bear? Oh yeah, very good. It's a cute film. It's really well done. What do you think makes a great villain in a movie? Great motivations, making sure the writing gives them a motivation. They can't just be pure evil. I mean, if they are that, there has to be a very good reason. So yeah, I think having a multi-dimensional villain, if you can, is even better. Yeah, Don Bluth is very talented indeed. I think sort of paved the way. The first Land Before Time is a very influential film, I think, in a lot of ways. You could star in any movie, what would it be? I'd love to star in a good comedy. Comedies are just fun. Failing that, like I'd like to be in a Star Wars film and just do a lightsaber fight. That'd be fun. Do you like watching movies based on real life events? Sometimes. Favorite species of big cat? Lion, I guess. Yeah, I think that's a general thing. The one when you say about the action genre, because when I saw Novocaine recently, I thought actually the story was solid, and it got me more interested in the film because of that. So many action films just are like, fuck it, let's just have a basic plot, and then we just throw in loads of action. It's just gratuitous. You want to have something to care about. The action has to mean something. The action has to serve what's going on. If the story is trying to serve the action, that's wrong. It's a backwards way of making a film. You shouldn't do that. To answer your question, yeah, it should focus more on story, less on action, but obviously have action in there, but be clever about it. Do you like watching movies in 3D? Sometimes, mainly Avatar, but aside from Avatar, I don't think there's many other films I'd watch in 3D. Oh yeah, I like that song. "You'll Be in My Heart." Yeah, very beautiful song in the Tarzan film. You've already asked me this. You are repeating a lot of your questions, by the way, Royal Roo. Are there any movie characters you identify with? Not really, no. But I'm sorry. I'm gonna actually let other people have a chance to ask questions. I need to answer some other questions. Sorry, Royal Roo. No offense, but you've asked so many. I need to let other people have a chance. Biggest goal for the rest of the year: to become a teacher in film. Thank you for asking. Do you get severe weather in the UK? Yeah, sometimes we do get a lot of rain, and then in summer it gets very hot, like 30 degrees or over. So it depends on the season. Can you do an impression of King Julian from Madagascar? I'll have to give it a go. Oh, it's Mort. Oh, he's so annoying. Don't let him on. He's got scissors and hand cream. I like to move it, move it. Yeah, I like to move it. Shame on you, Maurice. Can't you not see you have insulted the freak? Just tell me, who the heck are you? There we are. We'll see. How tall am I? 6'3". Thoughts on compare the Meerkat ads? I like them. They're pretty funny. I like Alexander, founder of comparethemeerkat.com. Simples. Sergey. Barry Scott from the Sillet Bang adverts. You mean the bang and the dirt is gone? It's been a while since I've seen those adverts. You may have to send me one in the group chat. But I enjoyed those adverts. The bang and the dirt is gone. I thought for a minute you said New Hope, and I was like, what? From Star Wars. But no, the New Pope. I haven't yet seen who the New Pope is. I need to check them out. Well, it's not check them out. Sorry, I need to take a look and see who they are, and I'm sure they're very genuine. Favorite movie that starts with the letter I? Incredibles. Technically, The Incredibles, but we'll say Incredibles. What is the best gift you have ever given? Oh, that's a good question. Oh dear, I can't remember now. What was the best gift I've given? Well, I got my mum a back massager when she was having problems with her back, so I guess that one. Thoughts on Alex's drawings from his old videos? If you ever met Alex in person, what would you do? This is Alex's head. Yeah, you get the idea. Yeah, I think Alex would have an angry mob coming after him. What cities in the United States have you visited? Oh, yeah, so I went to Alabama in 2012, and then in 2016, I went to New York. Really good, really amazing stuff. Gio Compario from the Go Compare adverts. I'm guessing you mean the male singer. Yeah, very talented guy. What a voice. Yeah, absolutely amazing voice. Thoughts on Rango? It's all right. I think it's yeah, I think it's fine. I'm sorry, I'm getting sick of this. Like, I need. There's too many questions here. Other people need. Other people need time. Sorry. Is there a food you avoid for health reasons? Yes. So, pork scratchings. Uh, very salty snack, lovely snack, but it is very bad for you. I did used to eat them more frequently in lockdown, but I'm trying not to because they're so bad for you. I'm trying not, I went on a weight loss journey a couple of years ago, and I'm trying not to indulge too much. So, yeah, every once in a while they're fine, but I wouldn't have them too often. What do they call high schools in England, and what year did you graduate? Well, the thing is, I don't know if I could say I graduated from school, but you sort of just finished school. In England, we have primary school, which in US is elementary. In England, we have secondary school, which is high school for you guys. But I graduated after university, or college, or whatever you want to call it, but basically uni. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. If you're confused, please let me know. It's on Blue Sky Studios film aside from Ice Age. I think I've only seen the Rio movies. I think they were okay, but Ice Age was clearly the big selling point. Um, yeah, I mean, people can hate that decision if they want. I didn't hate the decision. I do think it hurts the film. I do think the film would have been better if they were in it, especially as like Poe could have handed over his title to Tigress, especially as they were great friends in the second one, and she wanted to be the Dragon Warrior. So giving it to this random new character who he just met, this Jen character, the Fox character, was pointless. But yeah, whatever. Uh, yeah, I would say I've had it. Not necessarily diagnosed or whatever, but I've dealt with depression and anxiety. Yeah. Um, I think the biggest thing was like getting medication and then talking about it. Um, Sometimes life is just shit, and you don't know how to talk about things or deal with it, and it becomes overwhelming, and you just go quiet and everything. But you know, it sucks, but it's life. What's your favorite film from the 2010s? Inception is one of my favorite films from the 2010s. Um, but potentially the last Harry Potter film could be one of my favorites. Oh, actually, Skyfall. I'm going to say Skyfall. Biggest miscasting in the Bond franchise. Rosie Carver in Live and Let Die. I mean, she's not a bad actress, but she was a bit flat, I thought. Didn't really work with Roger Moore. If the Riddler was in the Nolan universe, how could you see him being portrayed? Oh, yeah. I think he would have been potentially similar to how he was in the Matt Reeves movie. Maybe not quite as basic in the costume, but definitely just as fucked up psychologically. But yeah, The Rock pretty much plays him. Yeah, I mean, the Rock is quite a nice guy, though. I actually have a bit of a soft spot for him, but yeah, he does play himself and everything. You're right. Worst actor and actress. God, I don't know. Worst actor. I'm not a fan of Jai Courtney. He's not one of my favorite actors. Worst actress. Oh God, that's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Who can I think of as the worst actress? Films can I think of? Oh, God, I can't think at the moment. Suggest me some. Do you have any action figures from movie TV? Yeah, so when I was younger, I had Star Wars figures, I had Pirates of the Caribbean figures, Doctor Who figures. They were the main ones I collected, and maybe some Harry Potter ones. Oh, nice. Oh God, it's nearly 2 hours. Okay, I might have to wrap this up soon. Sorry, that's why I sort of Royal Roo, if you're watching this, I apologize. It's not personal, but you are asking so many questions, and I wanted to let the other guys have a chance to speak. Otherwise, we would never have got to their questions. Favorite Darth Vader moment besides "I'm your father"? The moment where he kills the Emperor is amazing, very powerful. Oh shit! Break. I think I just knocked my hard drive. Whoops. Who do you want to see narrate a dinosaur documentary besides Attenborough? Just for the shits and giggles, Jeff Goldblum. That is one big pile of shit. And if we think about the chaos theory here, and it would just be so funny, based on Jurassic Park, of course. Which acting performance from a certain actor or actress made you cringe? Oh, good question. I think it was Hilary Duff in Food Fight. Oh God, that was awful. Very awful. Yeah, I've seen Alex's Across the Spider-Verse, right? Oh, Haley Shipfeld. How original, Alex. Well, yes, sorry, the Spider-Man 2 rant. Yeah. Which Bond film would you like to play as a video game? Oh, good question. There's been a few that have obviously been adapted, but I think Moonraker would be fun because of the laser. I know it's had some kind of video game adaptations, so I guess aside from that, probably on Her Majesty's Secret Service. If you're working on a TV show, how long would you want the episodes to be? Probably 7 or 8, depending on how long the episodes are. I'd say 7 to 8. It's probably enough. Yeah, I've not seen The Naked Gun yet, Jared. I must confess, I need to watch it. What role do you most want to see Ben Kingsley play in a Bond film? Blofeld. I actually think they're missing a trick having Ben Kingsley play Blofeld. I think they really should have him as the next Blofeld. Dragon Princess girlfriend will make a video on Alex. Maybe she might. I didn't really know Lee had a girlfriend. I'm not really in touch with Lee anymore. But good for him. I hope he's doing all right. Is there a video game you'd like to play but never had the chance to do it? Yeah, Ghosts of Tsushima. Is that how you say it? Tsushima. That one I'd love to have a go at. That'd be fantastic. I didn't see the sequel to Midnight. No, I've not seen the new series yet. Do you and Harry Thomas plan doing more videos together? Yes, at some point. We are going to hopefully meet up in June. Maybe we'll do another vlog. We'll see. Would you place James Cameron in your top 10 movie directors list? Yeah, quite possibly. Yes, I think I would. I'm not saying everything he's done is perfect, but I would say he's one of my favorite directors. Favorite Han Solo line or moment? There's so many. Never tell me the odds, but that's probably one of my favorites. How did you come across Harry Thomas? Through YouTube. So he started commenting on some of my old reviews, and then I found his channel and started commenting on his. We became good online friends, and then we started talking more in private. And then he actually moved not far from where I live. He moved down the other side of my county, so then we were able to meet each other in person. So it was actually kind of fortuitous in a lot of ways. What's the biggest tornado you've ever heard of in the US? I don't know I think this might have been at the time when I was in America. Hurricane Sandy. I don't know if it was the biggest one, but it was sort of approaching. And I think me and my school gang and the teachers, we just missed it because we traveled the next day just when it was emerging. So we got away with it. Thoughts on Yoda having a lightsaber? I'm okay with it. I think it's cool, but I think they should have saved it for episode 3. I don't think he should have done it in episode 2 because the Count Dooku fight is kind of ridiculous. Despite that, yes, George, it does look kind of cool. I have to be honest and say that the fight in episode 3 is much more epic, and it feels like, because it's the finale, it feels like the best time to first show Yoda using his lightsaber. So yeah, I'm kind of torn about it, to be honest. Favorite aspect and least favorite aspect of the Batman Arkham video game? Ugh. I mean, I haven't really played Arkham Knight that much, but I played the first three. I think for me, um, when it got to Origins, the third one, which was the prequel, the counter attacking got very difficult. The controls weren't as fluid. The favorite aspect was the open world feel, and the story was so grand, and it just felt very authentic. It felt like this is the first time I really felt like I was playing as Batman. You know, it felt awesome. Yes, I've played the Goblet of Fire video game. It does suck. It's terrible. Uh, I've not heard him laugh. Sorry, I can't do an impression of Alex talking about Poppy. I'll give it a go. Oh, Poppy, I just wanted to know, will you marry me? Oh, Poppy, you see, the thing is, from the moment I met you, all those years ago, not a day has gone by when I haven't thought of you. Now that I'm with you again, I'm in agony. The closer I get to you, the worse it gets. The thought of not being with you, I can't breathe. I'm haunted by the kiss that you should never have given me. My heart is beating, hoping that that kiss will not become a scar. You are in my very soul, tormenting me. What can I do? I will do anything you ask. If you are suffering as much as I am, please tell me. The good things I can say about Burns Planet of the Apes, the makeup, very good makeup, but the rest of it is a fucking mess. Yes, Jason, that's an understatement to say the least, but yes. What do you believe is the best job you've had? Well, all my jobs have been very similar, but I guess you could say currently, because I'm also currently working freelance as a videographer, I guess that. On a Sunday, I sometimes help. I help a group of kids with their film, like for a kids' youth club. I'm helping shoot and edit their film, so that's been amazing. It just doesn't pay very much, which is a shame, but still good opportunities. But my first ever job, which I stayed in for the longest time, was very good. It took me a while to get used to the job and to get the hang of it, to get comfortable with it. But I did find my feet, and I did grow from that job. I didn't want to stay there forever, but I did grow from it, and I'm very pleased that I was there for the time I was, even though it had its moments when it got to my mental health. You know. Favorite Cobra moment or line? Ooh, Caesar love humans more than ape, and the fight with Caesar as well. Can you do an impression of Alex saying this was the worst movie of all time? I'll give it a go. This was the worst. This was the worst movie of all time. Oh God, Alex. Also Nickelback. We all just wanna be big rock stars. I didn't listen to much of Nickelback, but when I was a kid, I loved his song Rockstar. That was fun. What's up? Hello. Jeremy Johns did blackface and whatever it was. Oh yeah, fair enough. I'll have to look at it in the group chat. Also, the special effects in the Hobbit movies. I think they're better than people give them credit for. Yes, there's more CGI than Rings, but ultimately the CG that's used, I think, is used more effectively. But some of the practical stuff they did have was good, but it's just not as monumentally game changing as Lord of the Rings. But you know, it was always going to struggle to follow Lord of the Rings, in my opinion. Favorite music genre? I mean, I don't know if this is a genre, but film music. I like film music. Happy Mother's Day, although it's not Mother's Day in the UK, but Happy Mother's Day. What are your thoughts on Alex using the term cheap and lazy? It's so repetitive. What's your opinion on the Until Dawn movie? Aha. Wait and see. Wait and see. A review is coming very soon for that one. Which film series is your preferred soundtracks? Star Wars or Lord of the Rings? Oh, as much as I love Star Wars and John Williams is amazing, I'm going to go with Lord of the Rings because they are my favorite films of all time. Oh, fuck. I've lost where I am. Okay, we'll be probably wrapping this up soon because it's been over 2 hours. So I'll get to as many as I can, but sorry if I don't answer all your questions. The upcoming Superman film. Oh, I've already answered that. Yeah, I think it'll be all right. Yeah, I didn't care for the film of Lemony Snicket's Unfortunate Events, so I never played the game. I hope you enjoy it. My stream is about to get wild. Okay, I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Did you watch Ariana Grande and Victorious? No, I've seen a couple of clips of her, and she's quite funny in it. So, yeah, I think she's got a lot of acting talent, more than people realize. But she is obviously she's a really accomplished singer as well. So, favorite Scar moment from The Lion King. Obviously, killing his own brother is a pretty big moment for the character, but the song "Be Prepared" honestly is probably his best moment. Are you a fan of Final Destination films? Yeah, I like some of them. I think the first one is the best. The second one is pretty good. 3 was all right. 4 was crap. I thought the fourth one wasn't great, and 5 was just 5 was meh. It was all right, but they sort of tied together back with the first one. But I know they're making another one. They've made another one that's coming out on Friday, Bloodlines, which I might go and see. I won't be able to see it on Friday, but I might see it next weekend. We'll see. Yeah, I'm glad we agree on that, Jared. Can you do an impression of Alex crying to the tune of Hi Ho? Give it a go, yeah. Hi ho! Hi ho! It's off to work we go! Oh, God. There have been some memes about the new Pope looks like Palpatine. Oh, God. So he doesn't start talking to his congregation about unlimited power. Unlimited power! It's one of my favorite Palpatine moments, yet it's so stupid. Reverend thoughts on Nala from The Lion King. I like her. I think she's a good character. Yeah. I don't like how in the remake they gave her a song though. That was a bit pointless. But yeah, she's probably my least interested. She's the least interesting character for me because she is just a love interest. But she serves her purpose well in the original film. Solidly performed by Moira Kelly. No worries, awesome. Thanks for your questions, man. Do you think it would be funny if David Attenborough narrated I'm a Celebrity? Yes. Imagine, especially for the eating trials, that would be funny. And thus it was. The celebrity picked up the beetle and shoved it down his cake hole, enjoying the scent and the pleasure of the juices of the animal. Or something like that, anyway. Of R2-D2 or C3PO. Oh, give it a go. Oh, no. They've shut down the main reactor. R2, you idiot! There, I could do with a tune-up myself. I can't really do R2-D2. It's you do an impression of Puss in Boots from Shrek. Now, ye ogre, pray for mercy from Puss in Boots. Hairball. What else does he say? For you, baby, I could be. Okay. I think on that note, I'm probably going to have to leave it there because it's been 2 hours, 14 minutes. But thank you very much all for your questions. Sorry I couldn't answer all of them. Sorry, Royal Roo. Didn't mean to cut you off, but other people needed to ask the questions, to be fair. But yeah, and stay tuned. Please hit the like and subscribe button for more content. And until next time, I'm Pajak's Perspective. See ya. Bye for now.